Well, let's move over to one of your specialties, real estate investment trusts, REITs. We love talking about these companies because they are typically very high yielding investments. They like to pay out. They have to pay out a lot of their income there in dividends in order to maintain that REIT and tax advantage status. But we saw news today. There were two more mall owners in CBL and Pennsylvania Real Estate Investment Trust. These are smaller REITs, to be fair, but they have filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. And when I saw this headline this morning, I immediately thought of you because you know the space so well. And, on the one hand, I thought, well, they're small. I don't know that it's all that big of a deal. But, the other hand, I'm thinking, is this a sign of continued trouble, headwinds, problems that investors should be aware of?
Well, first off, these aren't necessarily small companies. These are companies that have become penny stocks over the past few years. They didn't start out that way.
Right. Yeah. They earned their way to smallness, I guess.
They own a lot of malls. So in that sense, they're actually pretty large companies.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania Real Estate Trust owns the mall I used to shop at as a kid that's still in New Jersey, the Cherry Hill Mall, if anybody knows where that is. Both of these filed Chapter 11 today. It's really rare for a real estate investment trust to have to file bankruptcy. It's very, very rare. I can't tell you the last one that did it. It was just a matter of time for these two, though. These were kind of inevitable, especially in CBL's case. Their debt's just kind of spiraling out of control. Uncollected rent. A lot of big mall tenants have gone bankrupt this year. Ascena Brands, which is the parent company of Ann Taylor, Loft, and a few other brands.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tailored Brands, which is Men's Warehouse and Joseph A. Bank. And JCPenney, which is a giant anchor, especially for these two companies, have all gone bankrupt. So this was, in CBL's case, just with the debt was unsustainable before all those went bankrupt. And it's just to kind of put this in perspective, this was a 17-cent stock before this happened.
Wow.
So, it was pretty much already priced in. I don't even think the bankruptcy really moved the needle all that much. In the case of Pennsylvania Real Estate Trust, this was a planned and what they call a prepackaged bankruptcy, and there's $150 million in recapitalization financing ready and waiting. They're expecting to emerge pretty quickly, but for existing common stockholders, it's not very good news.
Yeah.
The one thing to keep in mind is that these are not only are they not what they call the Class A malls. These are the regional malls, the ones that have been struggling for years. The companies don't have a lot of liquidity, which is, the word of the day. In 2020, REITs that have liquidity are doing well. The ones that don't are not. Don't worry about the Class A mall operators just because of this. Like Simon Property Group, I'm not planning to sell anytime soon.
Right.
They have over $8 billion in liquidity, a very manageable debt load, and they have the capital available to reposition their properties when a tenant goes bankrupt. Simon just bought JCPenney, actually.
That's right.
Think of it.
I remember we talked about that.
Right. So they own the operating business now. So they bought a few of they bought J. Crew they recently bought. They recently bought Lucky Brand. So Simon has the money to do that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry too much about the high-end mall operators because they're not only are they buying up these retailers left and right, but they have the capital to reposition their properties to adapt to the new retail environment. Say, okay, you don't want a big department store? Fine, we're going to put a concert venue where that was. Companies like CBL and Pennsylvania Real Estate Trust don't have the money to do that. So it's not really an apples to apples comparison. Like I said, the writing was on the wall for a long time. Their malls are going to stay open. Both of them are not resuming. They're continuing operations while bankruptcy proceedings are going on. In Pennsylvania Real Estate Investment Trust's case, it's expected to emerge fairly quickly. But this just kind of really underscores that quality matters more than ever right now, especially in the troubled sectors like retail, hotels, things like that. The troubled sectors of real estate, quality is the most important thing to look at when you're evaluating a stock.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that regarding quality, because going back to just what we were talking about a minute ago in regard to valuations and price matters, when we see these types of valuations that we're seeing with a lot of these businesses today, I mean, some of them are going to end up being great ideas. Some of them are going to be really successful, and some are not. It really, focus on the quality of the business. When you start getting to these lofty valuations and you feel like that's a little bit of a concern, just make sure to give that quality a little bit of an extra weighting when you're considering businesses to add to your portfolio, because it really can help you sleep at night. I can tell you that.
For sure. It's always important to focus on quality when you're talking about real estate, but especially in tough times like this when it's really just uncertain and companies need to have capital available to weather the storm.
Yeah.